welcome to Rohan's Corner. And in case you hadn't noticed, it's Halloween week. And so for Halloween week, what better way to celebrate than all things beasts? Well, you know, creepy crawlies and the such.
You ask me, you and Optimus both need to be debugged.
So I thought, because of the impending Kingdom toy line and the potential Beast Wars movie coming up in 2021, that we do a Beast Wars special and enjoy all the great things about Beast Wars. So all you G1 fans and all you other Transformers fans, switch off now.
Are you insane?
No, I'm joking. Of course not. You all love Beast Wars, right? It's brilliant.
Speaking metaphorically, that is.
Actually, I really didn't like the Beast Wars concept when it was launched in 1996. I thought it looked stupid.
What a bunch of junk!
The concept just didn't sit well with me in terms of robots that transformed into furry animals and ate food and walked around on prehistoric Earth. It didn't make any sense.
I do believe I may have underestimated him. Yes.
And so eventually I started to just completely bypass Beast Wars and Animorphs and Beast Machines, all those series that were coming out around that time between 1996, the end of Generation 1, and 2001, when RID came back and re-energized Transformers into vehicles again. However, probably 2005, something like that, I started watching Beast Wars and actually found that the cartoon was fantastic.
Well, that's just prime.
We actually had some of the toys as we were growing up, my brother and I, of the Beast Wars series, things like Cheetor and Megatron, Transmetal 2, Megatron, and a few other bits and pieces. And, you know, the toys were okay. It was nice that they had the built-in storage and they thought about the shapes of the animals and things like that. But ultimately, not for me. So we started to ignore that whole period in time until we got older and really enjoyed it as it's now become a much more epic cartoon. If you haven't watched Beast Wars, you know, there's so much humour.
He's Wacko.
Wacko? No! Oneko! Oneko the Sane!
There's so much intelligence in the story writing, and they incorporated a lot of Generation 1 without actually, you know, picking up Generation 1 and redoing it.
Decepticons forever!
More than meets the eye.
It was quite cool in the sense that the Maximals were the descendants of the Autobots and the Predacons were the descendants of the Decepticons. Megatron had his own theme for what he was trying to achieve.
You have done well, Insect. Yes.
And didn't care about the old ways, wanted, you know, things to be his way, which is kind of great. You had Pterosaur trying to emulate Starscream a little bit, and at the same time you had characters like Rhinox and Rat Trap who buddied up well together and were new, fresh characters. Dinobot, the first sort of...
To think that a warrior must become a rat patrol.
Character who moved from bad to good, if you like, in the series. And yeah, it was great. There were a couple of other cool characters like Tarantulas and his third faction ways, a little bit like Starscream in Generation 1, but his own style. And then later on in the series, Black Arachnia became one of the most focal females that we've ever seen in Transformers for good reasons and bad reasons.
Sorry, chunk style, but I like being a bad girl.
And even further down, we had Depth Charge and Rampage, who I loved the rivalry between those two, and Rampage's storyline in terms of his spark and where it came from and what it became in terms of Megatron's tool.
Quick Strike, you may lead.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Royalty? Why was I not chosen?
Because, Inferno, when expecting booby traps, always send a boob in first.
So yeah, it's one of those series I would watch again and again, and I do every 5 years when I go through my cycle of watching Generation 1, and then I go into Beast Wars, and then I go on to Beast Machines, and then ROD, and then so on and so forth down the line. And I've just finished Generation 1, so I'll be watching all of Beast Wars again soon.
No one move!
Hey, Scrape Babe! Nice of you to show, but we already been here and done that.
If I don't choose to try and have a go at Headmasters and Victory, Master Force, all those bits and pieces, I've never really tried hard to watch them. I've tried a little bit, but not hard. So I think it will be a good year for that. And so moving on to the Kingdom toy line, I'm not going to collect the Beast Wars toys. I'm going to collect all the Generation 1 toys, but the Beast Wars toys, I'll let other people enjoy those.
What's wrong?
Wild bean vines. Hard to digest.
In terms of the movie that's coming up, I think it's interesting. I think it'll be unique to see how they do the characters, especially if it's live action again, and how they incorporate the prehistoric element. Whether or not we're going to get some of that in Earthrise and Kingdom from Netflix to try and set the scene. It feels like we're in that situation again as we were back in 2009 when Animated came out and they had this 2 or 3 year time period. They knew that Hasbro knew that there was going to be a few years where they needed to plug a hole between the second movie, Revenge of the Fallen from Bayverse, and the third movie. And
Not that.
And they decided to go with Animated. Animated was fantastic. They brought back some of the older characters, Ratchet and Bumblebee and so on and so forth. And ultimately it became really, really good, the show. And I don't think they expected that. So it got cancelled in season 3 because the next movie was coming along and they wanted to lay the foundations for that.
Do not turn your back on me, Maximal Scum.
So I think that's kind of what they're doing here with Kingdom in the sense that they're trying to lay the foundations for the Beast Wars movie by putting these toys out there now. And ultimately we're going to get a big blast of Beast Wars characters coming out when that movie hits. And I think they might even look at new cast members.
This time, the aliens will get a welcome they didn't expect.
Who knows? You know, that's the great thing about Beast Wars. Just like with the toys back in 1996 being distributed by Kenner rather than by Hasbro, we had the same situation in the sense that the concept, while I didn't agree with it at the time, was something totally new to Transformers. It was not the regular vehicles turning into robots. It was something new. And
Stubborn Maximal Fool. He'll soon regret this impertinence.
And it's the first time they've done that in the franchise since 1984. And, you know, since then, Bayverse tried to do it a little bit. Rescue Bots has tried to do it a little bit. But the concept of doing something different hasn't really been taken up quite as much as maybe some of us would or would not have liked. I know there's a lot of fans who prefer the original series because it's cars and robots, and I do as well, but sometimes it's nice to have something a little bit different.
I come in peace.
So, that is my take on Beast Wars. If you haven't watched it, Mr. Jamie Liddle, get around and watch it. If you have watched it and you enjoy it, give us a shout out and let us know how much you enjoy it. And to all those people who just close their mind to it, just watch some of the episodes.
And you know something else? Somewhere deep beneath this squeaky clean armor plating of yours, I think you like it too.
It's hilarious. You learn a lot. Some of the story arcs are really different and out there, and I really enjoyed it. So this has been Rohan on Rohan's Corner once again, passing back to Paul and the team. Take care. Enjoy Halloween.
Goodbye.